gonna apply to this. So in short, I'm still gonna lowball a bit to keep things simple. I'm just sticking with safe bets and mostly just going off their feet, since that is the most accurate thing we can do to find what they actually are. Statements could be true or false, but I'm still going to use some statements as they're not proven false, but still could be, but don't worry about that. And just to be clear, if even if they're on a higher plane of existence, their bodies are still 3D or even 4D, evident by the time manipulation by Shadow and Hit when they both fought them. Their bodies are still 3 or 4D, but their power is above this. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? We'll start off with Sonic. A fully powered game Sonic is infinite 5D to 6D. Let me explain. This could be wrong, but I thought I'd just include it just in case. Sonic's universe is likely 4D, since in Secret Rings, the Arabian Nights multiverse is contained in the book in Sonic's world. And Erasergen keeps trying to go to the real world, as he put it. It's with 7 world rings. So if this is the case, then Sonic's universe is 4D, and this will also make Blaze's 4D, as well as other universes, or dimensions that are comparable or similar to Sonic's. The imaginary world from Sonic Shuffle is a realm that contains a precious stone. The precious stone is powered by infinite dreams all across the universes, including Sonic's. The precious stone also powers the imaginary world itself, as stated by Lumina, who's half of the guardian of the precious stone. So if anyone would know who she's talking, what to say and what's true or wrong, it's going to be her. So if the gem with 5D power and the imaginary world could also be 5D in that case, since it powers infinite 4D structures, and it also powers the realm itself, which is above those structures. Void tampered with the precious stone, either giving him infinite 5D power or just normal 5D power. But still, it's fair to assume that since he's half of the Guardian, he's gotta be 5D if he wants to exist in that world as well. So even if he didn't absorb the precious stone or take some power from it, Sonic and his friends would have to be 5D to take his attacks. So there you go. This might be a stretch, like I said before, but there's more evidence for a 5D Sonic, like in both Sonic generations. When the time mirror erased or tampered with time in the Sonic multiverse, which would likely include the 06 timelines, the timelines in CD, and possibly the events assigned to Black Knight. I don't think it's the imaginary world is affected by this, but let's stick with these for now. This created a timeless white void, which would mean it would be 5D, possibly infinite in size. Possibly, as we know that the two Eggmans escaped from that void. So either a portal just came out of nowhere, or they just found their way out. Sonic and Base 1 restored these timelines to the way they were. Now normally this wouldn't be as impressive, but since it's in a timeless void, then Sonic in base form has to be at least 5D. Another bit of evidence is in Sonic Forces, the most recent mainline Sonic game, where Sonic and the Avatar got stuck in null space, which is a closed-off space created by the Phantom Ruby. Eggman stated that null space was a place where absolutely nothing exists, which implies there's no time or space in that realm. Before you say it's an illusion, it was never implied it was an illusion. Even if it was an illusion, nothing exists in it. And the Phantom Ruby can alter time and space as well, as shown where it repelled the Chaos Emerald to Sonic Mania, it made multiple sections on Mania as well. One time, I may likely even even made a signpost for time for Sonic to go through. It may seem like I'm babbling, but not really. Because still, even if that's not true, the Generations feat still it holds up. And keep in mind, I'm just going to say a whatever speed, just to give you an idea how fast they are. So base Sonic would have to be 5D in power and speed to do what I said. Since the wood was shaking when the Time Eater came to it, and the fact that the Time Eater could travel through that void from a different dimension and back, presumably where it was created, and since the Time Eater likely didn't, he could have done more timelines, but Eggman stated that he only used it to undo his past mistakes, which would just include a few timelines. Either way, he would be at least 5D, but we're going to say infinite 5D, because I'll explain something later. Since Super Sonic and Classic Super Sonic defeated him, each of them, or at least modern Sonic, in super form, is at least infinite 5D. Possibly low 06 XD, since the Time Eater didn't do any damage to the two Sonics, while in 06, Solaris did damage to Super Sonic, Shadow, and Silver. You can check the boss fight out if you don't believe me. More proof, or at least an infinite 5D Supersonic, is that the Chaos Emeralds themselves are only limited by someone's thoughts or imagination, implying they have infinite or limitless power. So in short, they can likely just make you infinite more powerful, or make you have limitless power. We're going to stick with the infinitely more power because that's more reasonable to come to, and it makes sense as well. So since Sonic is at least 5D in power and speed, Super Sonic would have to be infinite 5D or low 6D in power. Super Emeralds, or the Master Emerald, are obviously more powerful than the regular Chaos Emeralds. This is speculation, but it does make some logical sense. Hypersonic is obviously more powerful than Supersonic. So, if we lowball him, he's either low 6D, or if we be fair and just give him 60 power and speed. It's hard to say, but like I said, this is speculation. The Hyperform was only used once, and the Super Emeralds only appeared twice. But this is a fair assumption to make, as, like I said, we didn't really see much of it. But all we know is they're more powerful than the Infinite Chaos Emeralds. And they're also powered by the Master Emerald, which is a whole thing by itself. I won't explain that now. I might explain later if you want. Anyway, so long story short, if we exclude the Hyperform, Sonic's an infinite 5D to low 6D high multiverse plus powerhouse, as well as infinite 5D speed, and is invulnerable to damage. And if we include Hypersonic, he's likely low 6D to 6D, a low complex multiversal powerhouse with 6D speed, and somehow makes him more invulnerable. But anyway, for Goku, MUI Goku is at the end at least low 6D. This is not a wank, trust me. The Mortal World is obviously 3D, the other world is 4D, as Goku, who said time works differently at Dimension, and the fact that it's literally above the Mortal World. And another thing off the top of my head, Goku needs special permission to keep his body in that world. That may mean nothing, but if you apply it, it's kind of even more evidence for the other world to be 4D. Supreme World of Cars is at least 4D as well, since it's outside that realm. It could be 5D, but for simplicity's sake, we'll just say 4D, Because like I said, I'm going to lowball stuff and be fair so people won't get their underwear in a twist. We don't want that, do we? So Universe 7 is at least a 5D construct to hold two 4D realms. Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Kid Buu almost destroyed the Supreme World of Kai's and possibly even the whole universe in their fight, making them at least 4D. At least 4D. The reason why I'm saying 4D is because, well, earlier when Vegito fought Buhan, it was stated that the universe would be destroyed by other dimensions colliding in with it, as Buhan's ripping dimensions apart. This could just be implied that that's the reason why the universe is going to be destroyed, and by the time they didn't really know how big the universe was. It wasn't really explained to them anyway, so that's just an assumption. It wouldn't matter anyway, as in Super Saiyan God Goku and Far heavily suppressed Beerus. They would have destroyed the whole of Universe 7. As Eldekai put it, they would turn the universe into an empty void filled with nothingness. If they would destroy the entire universe, that would make them 5D. At least. Since Universe 7 is a 5D construct, that would make sense for the space in between the 12 universes that are the same structure as Universe 7 presumably. But even if they're not, the space is to hold at least one 5D structure has to be high 5D at the very least. It's possibly infinite in size, but well, I don't really know about that. Researched a lot and I couldn't find anything about it being infinite. Since the World of Void, where the interpower took place, is outside that multiverse, it has to be at least 5D as well. It's infinite in size, as stated by Beerus. Quote, the null realm is an infinite void where not even space or time exists. It's funny when you think about it. Null space and null realm both have null in it. It's funny, isn't it? Having suppressed Jiren when he powered to fight Goku shook the world of Void, which makes him at least infinite 5D. Tom's Alter Instinct Goku did the same. Later in Determine the Power, this is when shit gets real. Toppo, when he went into the God of Destruction form, he warped the infinite 5D space. That would mean he has to be at least low 60 to pull that off. So, Blue Evolution Vegeta defeated him, and since that Goku is around on par with him, and we don't know for sure, but it's reasonable to assume that they're both around the same power. So Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken 20 Goku should be the same. Since Jiren is more powerful than Toppo, and defeated both Goku, Vegeta, and 17, he has to be at least low 60 as well. If that's the case, the MUI Goku is at least 60, as he holds his own against Jiren, much better than before, but it's still nowhere close to his level. Until he went to Master Ultra Instinct, when he decimated Jiren before he got his awakened power. So non-UI Goku is definitely infinite 5D, while Master Ultra Instinct Goku is at least low 6D. Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken was 10 Goku in the Tournament of Universe 6 arc. He moved through Hit's time skip, which is about frozen time, in a different dimension that Hit makes. For Goku to do that, he would have to have 5D speed. And since Ultra Instinct is faster than that, you have to be at least low. It's reasonable to assume that low 6D speed as well. Sorry, that's my dinner catching up with me. So non-UI Goku at the end of Super is Definitely at least Infinite 5D, High Powerhouse Plus. Multiversal Plus Powerhouse, with at least 5D speed. MUI Goku, at the end of Super, is the low 6D, low complex multiversal powerhouse.